Ferrari 512 S Modulo. We start off our unbelievable list with a car that was developed to be as fast as possible, and so has quite an uncommon design to make it that way. The Ferrari 512 S Modulo is very low, less than a meter high, in order to be as aerodynamic as possible. And it succeeds. This race car can reach a top speed of 350 km/h. Although built back in the 70s, it still looks quite futuristic today. Unfortunately, it never went into production. Ferrari kept it as a one-off. ISO Isetta. Next, we have the ISO Isetta. It's a cute little Italian car with a big door, which opens at the front. Because there was a lack of material after World War II, small vehicles were very popular. It became famous when BMW built the Isetta on license, and it was the first car to achieve a fuel consumption of 3 L per 100 kilometers. The three-wheel car is very efficient, but not very fast. During its production run from 1953 until 1961, more than 160,000 Isettas were produced. Stout Scarab. The next car looks a bit like the Isetta, but is longer and has 4 wheels. Believe it or not, it is considered as the first minivan in the world. It is not a very big car, but despite that, it is fitted with a Ford V8 engine in the back. It was designed in the early 30s and cost 4 times more than a luxury Chrysler Imperial of the same era. Unfortunately, few people were willing to pay for the innovation. Only 9 examples of this minivan were built and only 5 still exist today. Messerschmitt KR200. This Messerschmitt is called a Kabinenroller in Germany, which means cabin scooter. It is a 3-wheeled bubble car for 2 persons. One in the front, driving, and the passenger sits in the back. It was produced from 1955 up to 1964, and 40,000 units were sold. This Messerschmitt holds a speed record. The cabin scooter reached a top speed of 103 km/h. That's faster than any other 3-wheeled vehicle. It is designed by Fritz Fend, an aircraft engineer, which you can see in the design of this car. Peel P50. Amphicar model 770. We continue the list with a car with 4 wheels and 2 propellers. What? Propellers? Yes, this car can drive on the road and sail on the water. It is watertight and features a flag and navigation lights. It performs well in the water but is very expensive to produce, and for that reason, only 3,878 Amphicars were made in just 7 years. Bond Bug. You might think that this Bond Bug is a special vehicle used by 007, but that is not the case. This minicar was made by the Reliant Company, known from its 3-wheeled vehicles. It was produced as a fun car, and it was often used by motorcyclists and young people because no license is required to drive this car. General Motors Firebird 1, 2, 3, 4. A few other weird and wonderful cars were built by General Motors just to show what they were capable of in terms of technique and design, namely the Firebirds. General Motors was inspired by the world of aviation, and their designs have a lot in common with fighter jets. The cars were powered by the same big gas turbine engines, which also powered fighter jets. The cars were very unstable due to the high power, so it was difficult to test them. Nissan Escargot. The name is a pun, standing for small cargo, and escargot, which means snail in French. And unsurprisingly, this Nissan looks a lot like a snail.